Hi everybody, this is going to be my first video log ever. I'm just trying out my new GoPro here, and I thought this would be a great way of doing it. This is a 1976 Sea Sprite with an OMC 400 series, outdrive, 140 horse. Picked up for 300 bucks. It's been sitting for 18 years. Got it home, cleaned it up, and did a bunch of research that I could online. Still haven't bought a manual, but I do need to get one. Can't find too much information on these outdrives other than people say they suck. Well, there goes the keyboard warriors as I like to call it. So for those of you who just bought one of these older stern drives and need a little bit of information on them, I'm gonna try and do some informing and of what I know. And anywho, let's get started. I know one of the big things on these is fluid levels and all that good garbage. Everybody doesn't want to give a whole lot of information, but anyways, bear with me, and critics, please keep your comments to yourself. There's no need to be rude. This here is for your tilt system. There's a clutch pack in here. You do want to keep this oiled. This will get water in it as well. So I know a lot of people have been packing them with grease or with 80-90 gear lube. I went with gear lube this first go around far as an oil change, but we'll see what happens. I'll probably wind up putting that to grease. Also, on these electric shifts, you want to run that Type C oil. There's a plug right down here. Drain it from there, pull this top plug, because otherwise it airlocks and it takes forever to drain. So go ahead, pop both plugs off, get yourself a good decent hand pump. And sorry if the video's wonky, I'm doing this freehand. But anyways, you want to run the Type C gear lube in this. As far as I'm concerned, run Type C in all of it, because it's 80-90 weight and it's what they want. And rather than running 2 or 3 different oils, just run one, and just makes it simpler. So your lower unit, you want a Type C 80-90 weight, which you can get at a parts store. Our local Auto Value did not have it, so I went to O'Reilly's and they had it, and it's only like $8 a quart or something like that. It ain't that bad. Also, you might run into, these might not have a place to hook a garden hose up. As you can see, there's no inlets here for water. The inlet is actually right down here by the prop. That's where it sucks in the water. But OMC does make a kit that attaches to here. It has a fitting for a garden hose, and you're gonna run a garden hose. I wouldn't recommend running a whole lot of pressure, as it is back feeding the impeller. So with that being said, I wouldn't run it in drive, as it is just it's just to keep the impeller lubricated with the water so it don't heat up. There is a grease point. Hopefully you guys can see it right here. Take this cap off. There's a grease cert here. I have yet to find any information on how much grease it takes, so I just gave it 5-6 shots of grease. So that's what I did there. On your hinge points, there's a fitting here and a fitting here. So what you do is you take these rubber bumpers off. They pop right off. Be easy on it, so not to break them. They pop right off. Just give them a couple shots of grease, or until you see a little bit of grease of your choice coming out of the hinge points, which I don't know if you can see that or not, but anywho, this plug here is for your intermediate shaft. This does not have a drain on it, so it is a keep fill as need. I just put in the Type C in there as well. Now for the upper part of your drive, this here is a dipstick. Right down here on the side, about halfway down the stern, there's your drain hole. Now be careful when you go and fill this up that you do check the level and is not over full, as it don't take a whole lot. I accidentally overfilled mine, but you can run 80-90 weight in here, but you know, like I said, to prevent running 2-3 different types of fluids, just run the Type C. It's just easier, and that's what OMC does recommend. There's one more grease fitting here. Well, there's a grease fitting when you tilt this up. There's a grease fitting on this plate for the steering gear, and you do want to give that a couple shots of grease as well. You do not want to run these in the up position under tremendous power. You can pitter patter around a little bit, get in and out of a shallow area, but I would not recommend running it at wide open throttle, as there is a ball gear under here, in which I can show you that when I get up in the boat and raise it up. I can show you all that good stuff. But anyways, we'll go inside the boat here and I can give you an overview of the motor. I'll just set you down here for a second. As I was saying, this is a 1976 OMC 140. It has sat for 18 years, but believe it or not, it run damn near right out of the box, minus a carb clean, and I've been fighting that a little bit. But these Rochester 2-jet 2-barrel carburetors, the 2JCs, they are a fairly easy carburetor to work on. Being that I've had one apart now a few times, it ain't been that bad. There's only 3 jets inside there. You got your power valve and just 2 little itty bitty idler jets. This is what I think they are, but don't really matter. You can buy a rebuild kit from your parts store or online. I have found the one from the parts store to be the most complete set so far. To remove the carburetor, there's 4 bolts right down in here, 2 in the front, and there's 2 on the back side, which this throttle linkage right here, I can't see with my sunglasses on, you got to pop this linkage off. Then there's a plate down here that attaches this linkage. There's 2 flathead screws. You got to remove those to get this out of the way so you can get this bolt back here. Other than that, that's the worst one to get to. I was going to do a video rebuilding this carburetor this morning, but I had a bunch of noisy kids, so I just opted to skip that. So with that being said, I'll probably have this carburetor apart here in the near future again, I'm sure, and I will do a video log of it then. Fuel line is your manifold heat for your automatic choke. This is the adjustment for it. Right down here, you got 2 screws for your idle adjustment, and I just put those 1 turn out. That seems to be a happy place for first start up on a rebuild, rather than trying to remember screws and all that stuff. Ow, stuck. This is your water inlet line right here. You want to make sure this is connected and tight. These motors do warm up fairly fast, and especially on the exhaust end of things, you want to make sure you got water flowing through. This is just an old style point condenser. Seems to work so far. I probably won't change it out for an HDI ignition or nothing like that. Oil dipstick. Buy yourself an electric pump app off of Amazon. I believe they're 30 bucks. It fits right down inside the dipstick tube here. It's an electric pump. Take about 15 minutes to pump it out. Dump in 4 quarts. When you do the oil change, make sure you check the oil level with the boat in the water, because then it's at its natural riding height, and you want to check it with it in the water. No big deal. Another thing, when I bought this boat, the solenoids for the tilt and trim are garbage. They do not work, so I've been using a jump pack on them to bypass the solenoids. These upper ones are for your tilt. These bottom 2 solenoids, they are for your trim. There's an easy way to check that. Just a power probe is the easiest, as I found. But if you apply power to this small terminal, if you apply power there and you got no voltage coming out here, the solenoid's junk. But you also want to make sure you got 12 volts coming in, because if you don't have 12 volts coming in, you're just wasting your time. So with that being said, also there's two drains. So hopefully you can see them. There's one here. There's one right down here. You want to pull both of those for winterizing. I would recommend running some RV fluid up through the water pump just to make sure you got no water inside there. I'm a bit of a anal person when it comes to that stuff. It's really easy to do. You just come up here to your thermostat housing, pop this hose off. You can hook on another hose up here. Other than that, it seems to run good. They're not a power hog, but you know, it's just a 3-liter 4-banger. Ain't nothing special. Let me hook up the jump pack and I'll raise up that stern drive again for you. Sorry for the crudeness of this video, but like I said, it's my first video vlog and I'm just trying to be informational for the people that are trying to learn a little bit about these old outdrives. On the newer style ones, there will be a drain here for that intermediate shaft. Here's that grease fitting right here for that steering gear. This here is your ball gears. That's what drives it. So use your exhaust. Here's the gear going to that clutch pack for your tilt system. Here's the wires for the electric shift. If you're not positive if it's electric shift or not, you'll know right away by looking right here. There's 2 wires. So it ain't that bad to do. I know a lot of, as I stated before, a lot of people said that these outdrives are garbage. Well, I think with anything, with a little bit of tender love and care and maintenance, I think they are a decent drive. They're not as nice as the Merc Cruiser drives or the Cobra drives or anything like that. But the one nice thing about these old stern drives is you got 30% more tilt, so you can go into more shallow water, and you do not need a transom saver to go down the road. As you can see, my transom boot is ripped. I did patch it for now just so I could just get it in the water and run it. This is, I believe, a 16-hole boot. It ain't that bad. I'm gonna buy a boot here soon and I'll do another crappy video on changing this out. From what it looks like, it ain't that bad, but we'll have another video to come. Then at the same time, we'll take care of the impeller as well. Probably bring the prop up to the prop shop here and just get the prop tuned up a little bit and straight and balanced. Like I said, this is my first video log. I was a GM mechanic for quite a few years. Been in a garage since I could walk. So by no means am I calling myself a professional sort, but I'm also not stupid. So I'm sure I got something wrong or I missed something. So if I did, please inform me. And yeah, but just don't be rude about it, because there's a lot of people out here that just don't have an idea on these old drives because the information's kind of crappy and it's hard to find. Because I've done a lot of looking online and it's really hard to find. So for now, I will stop blabbing and irritating everybody. Hopefully the next one's a little bit more professional and more to the point. I just wanted to try and do a walkthrough for people who just don't know exactly what's going on as far as fluids. So with that, have a good day.